Jeff. So, one thing you're not gonna get is that goofy Irish accent. That's why we keep Paul around. He's in charge, but his silly accent provides a lot of entertainment. So, you're gonna miss that today, cause I don't have that silly accent. Talk to Jeff about it with the Farmington. I mean, we'll kind of touch on it later, but a lot of what we see every day, we get calls every day. Man, I've got a 2-week-old calf, he's got scours. Well, I've got a 3-day-old calf, he's got scours. Some of the things that we encounter on a weekly basis. And it's funny because we'll get calls and guys will say, well, I've got the scours and it's this and this, and I know it's gotta be cocci. Well, how do you know? Well, I know. Did you test it? No, I just know. So it's funny how when you start testing things and finally get to the bottom of it. So we found that just by working on the cow, that we start with a good mineral, and there's a lot of good mineral products out there, so we try to get in and get with the folks because it's good nutrition. It's no different than raising your kids. You gotta have a good solid nutrition. Not to beat on them, but if a person was to eat a McDonald's for a week, you might have some gut issues. We're trying to, not to beat on, shouldn't have said that, but we're trying to go with proper nutrition, and that is what's helping us build the foundation. A lot of people don't realize, whoops, and I keep forgetting about that. How about that? Okay, I'm a rookie at this computer game, so I'll back up a little bit. So the different scours, I mean, nobody likes, I know that cryptos is probably, we've got some dairies that we work with that they're dealing with the crypto, and so much can be going back to the nutrition, but, and we can get into that later, what we can help do for that. So a lot of it is, okay, this is just gonna be, I'm gonna skip through some of this because this makes sense to everybody, doesn't it? The colostrum, you gotta have it. Okay, here's what, I like this slide because I grew up in it, in the industry, and I had no idea. Basically from about day 1 to day 15, that's a heck of a window for that calf to have what I'm gonna call a naive, there's a naive window there. If you have any risks, you're gonna get in trouble, and we probably should have put that in front of the scours because you're gonna see that, and then you're gonna see some of those scours. And a lot of people don't realize that. It's just, it talks about what happens if you get the antibodies. You get the antibodies up what your survival rate is. I mean, it's really amazing to me, even doing it, how it's such a dramatic difference. You get out there 35, 40 days of age, if your antibodies are too low, so is your respiratory on your calf. He's gonna quit breathing on you. So it's simple, but yet, okay, I'll go through it, we'll go back and forth. Farmington is basically, it's an organic product. It coats the gut, it rebuilds that mucosal membrane within the gut. When it does that, it flushes a lot of the toxins out. Once you get it to, okay, there's a history of it. It's overseas, they've quit using drugs, back in '06, and now we're getting it. And it goes back to the fact, to me, it's just good nutrition. It's just good, honest nutrition. There's no magical dust, no magical pill or anything. It's just, it seems kind of silly that we can use a tree, but I found it pretty hard to improve what God's created. We can't improve on what He does. We've been smart enough to figure out how to do that. And, it's in nature that the animals know it. People, whether it be the sheep or goats, you've heard that statement, all those sheep are stupid or dumb goats, whatever. When there's a lot more people grazing sheep and goats with cattle, they're cleaning up the high tannin, the different weeds and things like that, because we've gone out and it's like, why did the goat eat that weed, or why did the sheep eat that weed? You start picking those up, sending them in to analyze them. I'll be darned, those critters do know what they're doing. So all we're trying to do is use a little bit of common sense and basically go with what they've done. How do I back this up, Mike? I double clicked it, sorry about that. Yes, please. Okay, back to the forward again, sorry. There we go. Yeah, we've And I know we're getting a little bit off of calf nutrition, but this is kind of, if you're raising a healthy calf, you're gonna get to that point where, cause we all want them to go to the feed yard. I had, my oldest son sold calves this week in Westmont. $2,200 for a 650 weight steer. You can't let them get sick. So to me, that's what's exciting about this, is we're putting on, compared to some of the ionophores and the catalysts out there, we're able to go with those or head to head against them. And we're seeing a tremendous payback. But when you take that a step further, whether it be a baby calf or a feedlot animal, we're also seeing a reduction in drugs. I'm good friends with some vets, and I don't make friends with a lot of vets, because if it's done properly, you don't need the vet as much. So, I mean, we're just trying to do it the old fashioned way, I guess, maybe one way to look at it. Going through Texas A&M, it's been kind of a funny week, because I had a guy 2 days ago call from Wyoming, and he said, hey, I've got 500,000 pound bred heifers, here's what we need, and he's gonna run them through the chute and give them a liquid version of this product. Well, he tells me about a guy in Texas who's got 80,000 cattle, most of them are out on wheat pasture, and they're bloating. This product goes back in, it all works on a healthy gut, but it goes through, we're seeing it once we wean them off, get them off the cow, we got the healthy cow, we're weaning them off, we're seeing a healthy calf make the transition. We don't have a lot of this stuff because A&M doing this has knocked the bloat out. I mean, it goes, it's a healthy gut, you rebuild the gut, because there's so many, down there, the wheat hasn't frozen yet. So they're still grazing, growing wheat. The guy told me, he said, everything is bloating. Well, this guy, tell you how hungry the industry is, this guy, I talked to him yesterday, and then I get a call just a little bit ago, some guy from Idaho, he said, hey, I talked to Rick, and does this work? I picked up 3 tremendous accounts in about 48 hours, because people want something that works. So I mean, and it goes back to, this is not an infomercial, but it goes back to healthy animals. I mean, it starts on the farm. You guys are there, you get out every morning, it's 5 below zero, you still have to feed the cows. You still got to get the nutrition to them. If the nutrition isn't there, some of those cows might slough the calf. I mean, there's so many variables. Open cows don't pay a lot of bills. So we're starting clear at the front and hopefully getting rid of some of these baby calf issues. So well, it is the way Pharmatan works is basically it goes in, it binds like E. coli loves iron. So when we grab the iron, it basically locks up the iron. So that's one of the mechanisms we use. It reinforces or rebuilds that mucosal membrane within the gut. Okay, this is Dr. Jim Evans out of Iowa. He did this. He infected these calves with crypto. Obviously, you can see the one with and without. He believed in it so much. He said it's like putting rebar in concrete or not putting it in. I mean, you can see a difference, because we've had guys call and say, man, I've been fighting scours for 4 years. Well, I'm ready to get that call, but my thinking is, why'd you wait 4 years? I mean, we get those calls every day, and Kerry, we had a guy the other day call, he said, I've been fighting this deal for 9 years. If I couldn't have stopped scours in the first year or two, I think I'd had to sell, because if you've bought scours long enough, you're gonna say things that you can't repeat in front of the preacher. So you have to be, you gotta be on it. You've gotta be looking for something new. Okay, and that talks, is any of you guys fighting E. coli? Is anybody, goes back to the scours, has a vet diagnosed E. coli in anybody? That's a quick, kind of goes through it. It cleans it up. The Pharmatan has so many things. I mean, it just with the mode of action as it goes through the animal. What's funny is Clostridium. Have you fought that? The overeating, somebody fighting a Clostridium. This product actually being an organic product, we have a patent on it. There's a thing called quorum sensing. It will go through the animal, and we can get rid of Clostridium. There's a lot of manure has been scraped off the boot that's Clostridium, and then once that calf starts dehydrating, it's quite a journey to get back. So it's interesting that it's simply yeah, does this stuff work? We seem to get quite a few calls on that, cause I've been in sales long enough that if I had $1 for every time somebody said, well, if it works like you say, we're in. Well, everybody says that. Everybody has been in the industry. I mean, even you young guys, if you haven't been there long enough, you're gonna have, you'll face that, where you'll buy something and you're told it's gonna work, and then circumstances, whether it be weather, a challenge, I mean, there is no perfect product. So you're gonna get a challenge, but it all goes back to nutrition. So if you've got a healthy gut, and if you can find a good mineral, I know there's a lot of good mineral companies on the market. The chelated mineral thing is, I don't wanna say it's oversold, but you have to get the proper, I guess, the proper form of chelated mineral, because there are some chelated minerals that don't seem to give the response. You know, we like to test everything, so I guess that's one thing. Regardless of where you buy your feed, test it. Even if it's your best friend from college, send it in and have it tested. Mistakes happen. You're probably all familiar with that gentleman down in Texas, or was it Oklahoma, where they lost all those bucking stock, millions and millions of dollars, because there was a mistake at the mill. Horses can't have rumensin. It killed 100 years worth of genetics and so forth, of just a human error. So please check. I mean, always check on the ingredients. Okay. Oh, here's Dean Hunt. He's using, before they started with Dean, he was having major problems. So using the K-State calculator, and Dean is on, gosh, look, I'll cut to the chase. If you get to the back end, his profitability, and you're looking, it's what, 24%, it's his, that's 23. Dean's last deal was, his profitability is 24%. It's gone way up, but the cost of everything going up, I mean, the A&E, because the BASF plant blew up, so the vitamins are higher. Okay, so knowing you have to keep your vitamin, you gotta keep your vitamin levels up. You can't starve a profit into a cow. So if you keep them up, you gotta pay for it. I know, I think what, the vitamin A went up 12 bucks a pound or something. You don't have to add very much of that to get a $5 jump on a bag of mineral. Not a lot of people like that. So just common sense, old-fashioned nutrition. And I know a couple of, like, on the protozoa side, we can knock out crypto and coxi. I mean, you have to feed coxi because it's what, a 28-day cycle, so you have to go through. That's why we like to get 90 days. Rumensin, there's claims on rumensin, but you have to clean those up. Crypto, if you've ever had crypto in your calves, has any one of you guys ever dealt with crypto? It's a death sentence for a calf, because you've got to get electrolytes in them every so many hours. So you've got to try to keep the nutrition pushed on. Salmonella with E. coli, that's back to tying up the iron, but Salmonella, Clostridia, a good base mineral will help alleviate a lot of those issues. I mean, and how do I say this politely? There's good minerals, and then there's really cheap minerals. And you feed them for a month, and you'll know what I'm talking about. There is a difference. I grew up in a feed yard, sale barn setting. I within the first week, I could tell you who fed mineral to their cows and calves and who did not, because it's no different than us. If we don't eat properly, if we don't, like I said, we eat a bunch of junk food, drink Mountain Dew, eat Snickers, whatever it may be. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You have a tendency, it's okay for a while, but then you crash, and then your whole system is messed up. So I grew up steak and baked potato kind of thing for me. So it's good, honest nutrition, and that's what it takes to alleviate a lot of that. Okay, we kind of zip. There's different, and I know I please ask questions and whatnot. I kind of zipped right through it. There's different ways to do it. We push a lot on the antibodies just because of the picture where, you know, you've got a heck of a window in there that first week, 10 days, where the calf's immune system isn't very naive, and that's where you're gonna have the issues. But we've also got guys that get down the road, I've got a 2-month-old calf, and here's what happened. So we get those calls too. But the first thing we do, we check the mineral. I mean, that you have to, okay, we feed multi silage, we try to go through everything. You have to ask a lot of questions. I mean, and we don't have all the answers, and you know, we like to work with the producer to get that answer, so. I don't know, I kinda zipped through that, does anybody have any questions, cause I know that probably wasn't the. There you go.
So is this stuff, do other mineral producers use this stuff in their thing, or are you guys the only ones that sell this Farmertown stuff?
We try to work with, Yaggy's at Yankton, Phil out here at Custom Feeds.
What about like Progressive and stuff? I get tubs from them.
Right now, Progressive doesn't,
Okay.
can't tell you why, I've talked to him 2 or 3 times and, no, we can talk to them, absolutely, we wanna work with everybody, there's them and Purina, there's a couple companies that, I know Purina will not work with us, and that's fine, there's other, you know, we wanna work with the producer, cause at the end of the day, if you gotta pull a calf, the guy at Progressive is not gonna come out at 3 in the morning and go, you know what, let's pull that calf. It has to be what you guys, you sign the checks, so whatever, we have tubs, please come by the booth, we have OLS out of Ellendale, North Dakota, makes our tubs. It's a hard baked tub, molasses tub, we get along very well, we don't have consumption problems. It's 13% protein, but it has a high vitamin A, D, and E level and minerals. You have to have the foundation. So regardless of what you get the foundation. So if you're getting on good with Progressive, if they'll put some in there, is there, tell me about their tub, is it a molasses hard baked tub, or what is it?
I do it for the cows on corn stalks and stuff, but I've ran Kent Minerals for 30 years, AD&E.
Right.
And just one of them old school things, it works, and
Sure.
so if I can add something like this, or if you guys partner with, or whatever, I'm interested in learning about it.
Right, oh, absolutely, yeah, we can add it in the loose mineral, we do that a lot, I know Yaggy's and Yankton makes a lot of mineral for us, that's where all of my mineral, I live in O'Neill, and all my mineral comes out of Yankton. I know, are you guys familiar with Bud Palmer at Ken's Trailers? Go talk to him, he's using our product, I got a text last night, he said, hey, I need some more mineral, I didn't know I was out. He's busy, the brothers take care of the kids like he just showed it. So, yeah, by all means, I can give you names of folks, and please go talk to them, because it is, we think we got a pretty good product, but that doesn't matter unless it helps you, so. We can think we got a good one all day, but if it doesn't make you money, that's the bottom line. Anybody else got any questions?
You get that and mix it by hand in your other mineral?
Yes, sir, yeah, you can take that, those are 55-pound bags, so if you've got a 4-ounce mineral, 6.5 pounds of that per 50-pound bag, mix it up, and that'll give you the 15 grams, and that's what we recommend, you know, pre-calving and post-calving. The 15 grams is what's gonna go in and rebuild the mucosal membrane, it tightens up the junctions, but it helps protect the liver, it cleans the liver, and that's huge as far as however you wanna look at the liver, but the liver, you have to have it, you know, my wife went through cancer treatment, I can tell you how important that liver is.
Yeah, I had a lady call yesterday down in Des Moines. She's from Kentucky, and she's raising Wagyu, Guernsey. I don't know how you raise Wagyu and Guernsey, but that's the crossbreed, and she's selling all this high-end meat, all of New York, West Coast, East Coast restaurants, right? She brings in 40 bred heifers in the spring, and she's had 20 and 40% death rate of these calves because they have crypto. She's had it for 2 years. Her dad and her trying to figure it out. She saw us on RFD TV and a couple of magazines, and she's like called me yesterday, and I said, since you're going to be calving next month, you want to up this about 20 grams a day per head. But if you see the bottom one, I mean, that's in the dairy cow, but she needs to get on a faster pace because she calves in a month. And so she said, if this stuff works, I said, no, it works, just you gotta get in your program and get it working. So, you know, more to come. She said, I'll be your biggest proponent in that space, so.
Anybody else? You three back there in the corner, you've gotta have some question.
How does this compare like to the biomass minerals like Kent Windex have?
Thank you, the biomass, that's a great product, we're gonna be a little more expensive. I mean, ours is, what is it, basically a penny a gram. So you're looking at right here, this program would be, ideally, that's what we do, that's about $21 per cow. over a 150-day period. Back up to growing up in a sale barn, I used to be able to treat sick cattle for $10. You can't do that today. You gotta have,
Is it kinda like the same thing?
It's the same mode of
biomass
action.
is something that it collects that scour stuff.
right, right.
Is it kinda like the same thing as that?
It's similar mode of action. I don't know how, I honestly don't know how the moss like covers, rebuilds the intestinal wall. I know we see that again and again. You're gonna see the manure change, they're gonna go through some changes. It's very similar. We go with moss. I mean, we go right in the same bag with moss. It doesn't hurt. It's economic.
You could mix them together.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. It's not antagonistic at all. Yeah, it works very well together. We go with rumensin, you name it, we can go pretty much in anything, so. It's a pretty nice product, it really is. Anybody else?
Dealers.
Pardon me?
Where dealers are.
Custom Feeds is one, and then I live in O'Neill, and I'm a dealer myself, so. So we have, they're, yeah, those guys, Yaggies in Yankton, and then I've got a warehouse in Elgin, and I keep going in O'Neill. So, are you right around here? Yeah, so it's, and there's several other products, it can be put in if guys like a pellet for the feeder and what have you. There are no heat restrictions on this product, it can be added to whatever, I mean, it's a tub, a feed, whatever. What do you?
Will it help in prevention of coccidiosis?
Yes, if we can get, minimum, we try to get 60 days pre-calving, and we can, yes, it does help. If you've got cocci in there already, you've seen blood, no, go ahead and treat them for that, but if we can get ahead of the game, absolutely. And whether it be feed yard or cow calf, we've seen if we can get ahead of the game, and that's why we try to go 60, 90, at least 60, because you can go through 3 cycles, because it's a 28-day cycle. We wanna get 2 or 3 cycles in there to try to, if we miss something the first round, to try to knock it out. So yeah, we've, like I say, I can give you a list of folks you can call and check it out, because it is, honest to goodness, it works.
And then you just mix that with your mineral.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, you can mix it, like I say, it comes in a 55-pound bag, and you can, it's just a granular, and you can, 6.5 pounds per bag of mineral, because most minerals anymore are 4-ounce minerals. There's 2 ounces here and there, but they're mostly 4 ounce. So,
So what's a bag of that cost or whatever?
a bag of that is $249.20. There's 1,600 feedings in that bag though, so keep that in mind. I mean, when I first started, they said, here's what it costs, and I started laughing, I said, who's gonna buy it? Well, as you get it out there and people start seeing it, I mean, I've been pestering Jeff for years, and he could, I don't know how many times have I called and said, hey, interview this guy, what do you think? And yeah, it does. We stand behind the product. If you use it the way we lay it out and tell you, you'll see the results. I mean, honestly, it's that kind of a product. I grew up in a sale barn. I've sold a lot of stuff in the ag industry. This is not the easiest thing to sell, but it's the easiest thing to sell, because you lay it out there and people use it and go, damn, that worked. Nobody wants scour. Nobody wants scour, so.
That's the most ideal way of going about it, though, starting before,
Yep.
get the mama cow first.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That's.
Well,
all
we've,
all the people that I've talked about, they'll tell you, and they might have started on the other end by treating, and then once they saw that success, you go up front, and obviously it'll pencil out at the end. Go to vet later and we make it up on the other end.
Bud Palmer was that guy 2 years ago. We talked to Bud, and he said, I can't afford that. We're not gonna do that. I said, talk to him in a couple of weeks. And he thought, and I'm kind of smart aleck, if you haven't picked up on that, but he said, you're being a smart aleck. Why am I gonna call you in 2 weeks? I said, you'll have scours. We have an endorsement from Bud that says we were losing more calves than anybody, any former rancher would want to admit. They started using, we have a little bolus that's got the antibodies. They're on a complete mineral. We make their mineral, Bud's happy. Bud and the brother, I guess, everybody's happy with them. So we, like Jeffrey said, we had to go the other way and come in the back door. But the product is proven, so.
There's some testimonials on the website there too, farmercan.com or farmercanusa.com, I think it also works.
Yeah, it seems simple, I get it, it almost seems too simple, cause I can tell you've got that one to wave the BS flag, maybe like you're kidding me. But it is that simple, it works, it's good, honest nutrition.
So tell them about your dairy in Atlantic, Iowa.
Oh, yeah, we've got a dairy over in Iowa, that's a great point, because what we've done with the production as far as, well, production, and there's a lot of these guys raising these beef on dairy calves. We've seen the antibodies and just the pure quality of the milk go up, colossally. And this dairy is, all the parameters, the protein, butter fat, everything is up, and the health, overall health of the animal. Well, the one thing it's translating back to is the hoof health. Cause I had a deal, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago, pop up on my phone talking about hoof health. Hoof health starts with good, honest nutrition and a healthy gut. If everything's working, cause if they get, I mean, I've grown up in a feed yard, the cattle got a little too much, they overfed it, you get the laminitis, and pretty soon it just goes backwards, and you don't realize what one little mistake can do. So proper nutrition has been, for us, that's huge, that has been.
I was in that dairy barn about 3 weeks ago in Atlantic, Iowa, and about 2,000 cows were looking at me when I walked in. And I never heard one hack, one wheeze, one cough. I didn't hear one cow bellowing. I said, this stuff is unreal. So anyway, when you fix the health of the cow, you fix a lot of things that they can do with it. You know, higher milk production, higher milk fat, higher IgGs, all this stuff.
Yeah, it seems pretty simple, but it really is, it's just honest nutrition. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Yeah, you talk about the dairies and then feed yards, they're on TMRs, but like on a beef cattle, you know, they're not gonna hit the feed yard or calving area until maybe a month before calving, is that gonna be soon enough? To get that mineral in them, I mean, free choice, that's not a very.
You don't have a way to get mineral or anything in front of them before that?
Well, yeah, but it's not a steady, they're gonna have to eat it type situation.
Right, you're not force feeding it,
Right.
okay. 30 days, I'll back off some of what I told you on how well it works if you only get 30 days. I mean, we've got, I say that, but I'm not gonna BS it either. I've got guys that, I know a couple guys that father and son at Plainview. They called me 2 years ago, 2 weeks out. I double, what I do is I'll double that, so that basically 15 grams means a pound will treat 30 head. I flip that the other way, so for 10 days, I'll treat, I'll double it to 30, you get, and then you go back over. I want a certain amount in that gut to fix it. Is it gonna be bulletproof? No. We get along good with it? Absolutely. We've got guys, they've been doing this for 8, 9 years, I've been with them 4 years, and we've still had a lady come up today from Albion, never heard of you. We get that every day. But she's already started Kevin, so we're gonna set that up. We're gonna double the dose and do that. And we're still gonna have results. If you can get it in when you get your 30 days, if you can get it in consistently, absolutely. But I want to start at a higher level because we need to get a certain amount in there and rebuild that membrane in the gut. What?
Can you put too much in?
No, you'd have to feed over 1,200 times the amount that I've done. I mean, there's guys out west that still do the old feed bump thing where they have 9 different boxes. Free choice, they will not overeat, but that box is always the first one empty. But they will not overeat, they won't. Cause animals eat on a nutritional basis, giving no regard to quantity. So nutritionally, when they're full, they're done. And you're gonna see, back to the dairy, you're gonna see your cows, when they make you the most money is when they're laying down chewing their cud. They're gonna graze a certain amount of hours a day, but they need to be laying down. And this satisfies them. I know the boys, again, at Plainview, I've heard that more than once. My cows are content. I mean, nutritionally, that's the bottom line. If you can nutritionally satisfy that animal, that's a win. Because if they're not craving something, you know, same thing. We get home, we've been out doing chores or whatever, you get home and like, damn, there's a piece of cake and some ice cream and I'll have an iced tea with it and whatever. That's really not what we need. And we're not nutritionally contented, we wouldn't be doing it. And we need a steak and baked potato or something. It's a little bit different. So it all goes back to the foundation of what your nutritional foundation. Any of you young guys, you guys are all quiet. Was that, did you guys get together and decide to do that or what?
Taking notes for class.
Sweet. Well, good.
Okay, let them know where your booth is, Joe.
There we go.
Yeah, we're in booth 97. It's just basically straight out on the back side of here, in the big side of the arena, so.
Okay,
But that, I appreciate it, guys. If there's anything, please come by and let us visit. I mean, it's, I know I kinda zipped through there, but come by and we can visit about it. Would love to just give you more ideas on what we offer. Thank you.